Hello everyone, this is Tim, and this is my little fantasy heartbreaker that I've been working on. It's entitled 18 Inches of Blood. It's a little bit like an OSR game, but it incorporates some things from like high adventure role-playing, Rollmaster, and really just my own ideas on different aspects of the hobby. It's going to have like mostly public domain art. I bought some cheap sort of stock art that I'm going to include in it, but yeah, that's my little my little title page, I guess, for now. I'm going to try to put some more things in here, but yeah, I just kind of want to go through here and show you what I'm working on. The idea really is to incorporate like a lot of blood, like think like anime movies, Kill Bill, like that sort of thing. So like blood pool is going to be used instead of like hit points, and it really just is like a bit of a manifesto, I guess, of my gaming style and expectations. It's a mix of a lot of different things. I'm kind of a weird oddball when it comes to RPGs and what I like and dislike. But yeah, this is my little project I've been working on. So if you ask, is that Judith and Holofernes? I think that's right. I'm not sure, but that's the front there. It's a painting. Let me get back to it. Yeah. So you can see a little bit clearer. I don't know if that'll be the actual page, the cover when I'm done, but it's kind of like a placeholder for now. But yeah, blood, magic untamed lurks within, unleash it. We are bags of blood that yearn to break free. So it's kind of pretentious, and I'm sure I'll change the wording on this a little bit. But like my author's expectations, like awe and inspire, talk about dice rolling and randomness, emergent narrative, explore and interact, heroic characters, not superheroes, in-character role-playing, mega dungeon hellscapes, proactive players and risk-taking, rulings, rules as guidelines, theater of the mind, unbalanced encounters, and weird and wonderful. Those are kind of the things there. Oh yeah, my son totally broke my monitor, so this thing that I'm working on is like just ancient, and it's beat to hell. But yeah, I've got some stock art there, and the basic mechanic is going to be 1d or 1d10, roll low, and it's going to start out with like 1 is a success, and then you add into stat modifiers, kind of like D&D. But yeah, I don't know, statistics, I'm just going to go through things. One thing that is different with this system that I'm going to emphasize is burning stats down to the ground. So instead of using hero points, you have a limited resource, which is your stats. They go up a little bit when you level up, for the most part. I have like almost 2 pages here of options on how to burn them to give you little bumps and things and power. But yeah, this is definitely my little fantasy heartbreaker. I don't know when it'll be published. I got up to about 150 pages, and then I kind of got the chainsaw out and started hacking away at it. Stats are going to be a little bit different with modifiers. It's every 3. So like 1 to 3 is -1. 4 to 6 is 0, and then you just go up every 3 plus 1, all the way to plus 4. And 18 is going to be a max stat for this. It's kind of like where the 18 comes from for the title. But yeah, it's going to have appearance, constitution, dexterity, intelligence, luck. It'll be like a little bit like a saving throw, sort of. And it's going to influence all saving throws. Power, it kind of comes from like D100 games. Strength, as you might expect it to be from OSR games. Wisdom's in there. And there's going to be some derived statistics like attack bonuses, defense bonuses. Like I said, blood pool is going to replace hit points. Power points are kind of from like Rollmaster and like the D100 games. And saving throws are a lot like the D20 system saving throws in a lot of respects. Gonna try to include different sort of public domain art everywhere as much as I can. A lot of these things here are like the tops of pages in old school books. Just a kind of a character checklist. One thing I'm going to emphasize is that race influences the saving throws more than class does. And the race is also going to have more of an influence on what stat dice you roll. So there's going to be different stat combinations. And that's more from like the D100 system, like BRP and RuneQuest. What else we got in here? There's going to be culture. So culture is going to be separated out from race. So where you pick like a dwarf in like OSR games and it just comes with a prepackaged culture, you could have a dwarf who was raised in like a swamp or in a forest, and that's kind of based more on like the harp cultures and the rollmaster cultures. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And just more art. I'm kind of a visual guy. Again, I don't know if this will be in here. The styles kind of clash with some of these, like paintings versus, just black and white stuff. I'm probably going to end up going with just the black and white stuff. This art I kind of paid for. Can't remember the guy's name right now, but that's the dwarf. And different combinations for things there for dice rolls and bonuses and, I don't know, typical. I don't know about typical, but so dwarf, elf. I got goblin in there, gnome, halfling. I like the halfling guy. It kind of reminds me of the little guys from Star Wars. We got humans, got orcs, and I try to use the same artist for all that different stuff. Sorry if there's some background. The heater just kicked on. So these are the cultures: deep underworld, highlands, nomadic, oceanic, rural. Again, these are very heavily influenced by harp. Shallow underworld, sylvan, tribal, underhill, urban. And I really have to come up with like what weapons are favored by these cultures, what languages they have. Try to be generic. And then description. I'm not sure if I'm going to give them any sort of stat bonus or not. Still kind of wondering about that. Maybe just weapons that they use will get more damage. I don't know. I'll figure that out. Classes, I kind of just stuck with the big four. So you got cleric, and there's random advances for the next level. I'm going to try to have clerics just perform miracles, and they're not really going to be like divine spells like OSR games have. Just more art. Got your fighter with his random advances when he... I guess I should say that everyone's going to start out at 0 level, and they're only going to get a class when they get to the next level, basically get to first level. But there's going to be 10 different random options, so every time you level up, you're going to roll a d10 and get one of these things. That was a little bit influenced by Zach Sabbath and the way he does stuff. More random art. Mages, I don't know, it's going to be some spell points, and they're probably going to be more like your stereotypical wizard, but again, it's going to be a spell point system, so not really going to be like fire and forget and that sort of thing. What else we got here? Again, random advances when we go to the next level. You got your rogue. And again, I try to use the same artist for all these different like class images and race images. Random advances. Armor. I don't know. I'm thinking it's going to be damage reduction. Still not totally sold on that yet. It's a work in progress. Weapon types. I don't know if you can get a little bit closer there. They're going to be bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. And they're going to have different properties. I'm going to have pain as a every time you get hit, you get a -1 modifier with bludgeoning things, and that's going to go in that 1d10 roll I was talking about. There's going to be bleeding, and that's more influenced by like I guess high adventure role playing and rollmaster. Weapon categories. Let's see here. We have, I don't know if you can see those or not. We have melee small, melee medium, melee large, range small, medium, and large. And the different classes are going to influence how much damage those do. I'll have to get the classes here. It's just like equipment and so forth. Combat is, I don't know, kind of a work in progress. Yeah, there's equipment there. Sophie says she doesn't think spell points are any better. Yeah, it's just a different way of skinning a cat, I guess, to use the phrase. Guy with arrows. Kind of tilted there, sorry. I don't know. Gonna have some critical hits. This is pretty much standard combat you could think of. I don't really think there's anything that out of the ordinary with the combat chapter. Let's see here. Definitely going to include friendly fire. Big fan of that. If you're going to shoot into a big crazy melee fight, you're going to hit somebody, and it's probably going to be one of your own, friends. I got to work out the rules a little bit better though. I like the idea of friendly fire. Hit locations. That's more for like flavor really than anything else. Description. It's going to be a 1d10 roll too. Let's see here. Yeah, typical stuff. Running away is important. Gonna go with side initiative. What else we got? Just more random art. Let's see here. So the one thing that's going to be boiled into the system is that you're going to burn stats down to the ground to do cool things. But at each level, you're going to get a random stat advancement. So just one to a random stat. Experience points you need. This is more like the divine channeling part. And I'm going to have to work on these modifiers a bit, but whenever you want to do something cool, it's really going to be like prayer, I guess. And depending on what you do, it's going to influence the effect of the roll. And there's going to be 4 magnitudes of prayer and spellcasting as well. So the way I figure it, it's going to be harder to cast. So 4th magnitude spells are -4 modifier, -2 down to the 3rd, and 1, and so forth. So those are going to be harder to cast, I guess, or just the miracles are tougher to perform. Magic, again, it's going to be a spellcasting roll, spell points. Probably the biggest thing that I need to work out, if this thing would focus, is the colors of magic. I'm going to have, I believe, 9 different schools of magic, and these are heavily influenced by Magic the Gathering. I'd like the idea, I guess it's probably from The Last Unicorn, of Magic, do as you will, where depending on where you're at, there might be different sources of magic, and those different sources of magic will influence the spell in weird ways. Let's say you're hanging out by a cemetery, maybe the black color of magic will influence the spell. So really the goal, I don't know how this is going to work out in actually fleshing it out, but the goal is to have these sources of magic influence the description of the spell. And it's really going to come down to the player and the GM to make that happen at the table. But I'm going to try to encourage that with the spell descriptions. That's a different thing. I want spells to be interrupted. So if you take 1 point of damage, you're going to interrupt your spell. Rituals. Anyone can cast a spell with a ritual, but it's going to take a long time. So that's kind of the drawback with the rituals and costs as well. There's costs for different spells there and silver things. And again, that's how long it's going to take to cast. That probably needs worked out a little bit. I thought that higher level spells are going to take longer, but if you spend more spell points or if you burn one of your stats down, then you can negate that. So kind of like a benefit with a cost. So maybe I'm being too hard on the spellcasters, but I sort of like that idea that magic is not easy and it's also dangerous. I just went through and I renamed all the Lamentations of the Flame Princess spells. I'm not going to be able to get these, I don't think, but Arcane Vivisection, and I kind of, that's Magic Missile. Bind with Flesh and Hair, that's Mending. Breath of a Slain God, that's Light, So I tried to use Metal English as much as I could to come up with some just really crazy ass names for spells. Something that's non-standard. But yeah, more public domain art. So the idea with magnitude is first magnitude spells are going to be like first, second, and third level spells from D&D. Second magnitude are like 4th, 5th, and 6th, I guess. Well, I guess I'm saying that wrong. That would be the level of the caster that you would have. So second, you have to be 4th, 5th, or 6th level. Third magnitude, 7th, 8th, and 9th level. And I figured I'm only going to go up to 10 levels, and that's going to be when you get your 4th level spells, your 4th magnitude spells. It's not going to focus, of course. But, yeah, I don't know. I figure if I limit that a little bit, that'll help. These are all just additional spell names that I came up with. Based kind of like on Lamentations of the Flame Princess. Just a lot of crazy-ass names for spells. And the idea is just to have a name there in case a GM wants to include that in, kind of flesh out their own spells. I kind of like the idea of do-it-yourself, and I want to try to set a GM up to do that. This is going to be where the spell descriptions go, and I'm really going to have to just go through and take OGL spells and reflesh them out for 1d10. Magic items, I don't really have a lot there. And that's pretty much it. That's like the OGL at the end. So that's pretty much my system that I'm working on. Let's see, how many pages is that? We're up to, what does it say? 68 pages at the moment. Like I said, it was like 120 with all the different spells in there I had. But I had to kind of burn it down, to use my own terms, and start over from scratch. again, because I kind of ditched all the skills. I had a pretty robust skill system. I think I had like 20 skills. But yeah, that's my little fantasy heartbreaker that I'm working on. And thanks for watching.